Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about something often whispered behind closed doors, but we're bringing it into the light. We're here to talk about confidence, dignity, and taking back control over something that impacts millions of women: bladder leakage after 70. Now, let me say this loud and clear: leaking does not define you. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you've failed, and it's certainly not just a part of aging. You have to accept it's a signal. It's your body asking for better care, smarter habits, and a little more attention. You've survived 7 decades. You've raised families, broken barriers, built communities, and carried the weight of life. You deserve to live with strength, grace, and freedom. And that includes the freedom to laugh, sneeze, or dance without fear. Bladder leakage is something that many senior women experience, but the first truth we must embrace is that it's common, not inevitable. There's a huge difference. Just because something is widespread doesn't mean it's a natural or unavoidable part of aging. In fact, treating bladder leakage like a normal part of growing older keeps so many women from seeking solutions and taking back control. That mindset can quietly steal confidence, independence, and joy. And yet, the reality is that many causes of bladder leakage can be traced back to specific, manageable lifestyle habits. That's right. What you eat, drink, how you move, and even how you respond to certain body cues all play a role in whether or not bladder leaks become a part of your daily life. Our bodies change as we age. Muscles weaken, hormones shift, tissues lose elasticity, but that doesn't mean we surrender our power. The bladder and pelvic floor are muscles, and like all muscles, they respond to care, attention, and strengthening. Far too many women feel embarrassed, ashamed, or even defeated when leaks begin. They quietly adjust their routines, avoid long trips, stop going to social events, and wear bulky pads just in case. But let me ask you this: is that really the life you want to live? You've lived too long and accomplished too much to let a leaky bladder dictate where you go, who you see, or how you feel about yourself. The truth is, bladder leakage is often a wake-up call, not a life sentence. It's a message from your body saying, "I need some help. I need you to pay attention." And when you listen with patience and respond with purpose, change is not only possible, it's probable. Thousands of women over 70 have reversed or significantly reduced bladder leakage just by identifying and eliminating a few harmful habits. There's no need for shame, only strategy, and that brings us to the second truth. Empowerment begins with awareness. You can't change what you don't understand. For many women, bladder leakage is wrapped in mystery. It's something they've been told is just a result of age or childbirth. Doctors may have brushed it off, or it simply felt too personal to talk about. But knowledge is power, and the more you know about how your bladder works, what your body is telling you, and how your choices impact your pelvic health, the more you can reclaim your power. Understanding your body isn't just about science. It's about self-respect. We've been conditioned to ignore certain signs or to push through discomfort with a smile, especially when it comes to something private, like bladder issues. But your bladder isn't private. It's part of your health, your strength, and your sense of self. Learning why leaks happen, how they can be triggered, and what habits might be making them worse gives you control again. It's like flipping on the lights in a dark room. You stop stumbling and start seeing a path forward. This is not about perfection. It's not about turning back time or comparing yourself to your younger years. It's about moving forward with purpose, clarity, and compassion. You don't need to know everything to take the first step. You just need to believe that change is possible. The journey to dry, Confident living starts not with blame or embarrassment, but with a curious mind and a determined heart. You are still learning, still growing, still worthy of feeling strong in your own body. That begins with knowing you have options and believing you deserve better. And once you begin to see the connections between your habits and your bladder health, you'll realize you're not stuck. You're just getting started. There are 8 key habits that contribute to bladder leakage, and each one represents an opportunity for change, not a life sentence. These habits aren't carved in stone, and they aren't signs of failure. They're just patterns that may have developed over time without realizing their impact. The empowering news is that these habits can be replaced with healthier choices. Sometimes we fall into routines because they're easy or because no one ever taught us differently. But now is the time to look at each of these behaviors with honesty and courage, knowing that understanding them is the first step to regaining control and confidence. One of the most common habits is overconsumption of caffeine. It's a part of many women's daily ritual: morning coffee, afternoon tea, maybe even chocolate. But caffeine acts as a bladder irritant and a diuretic, which means it increases the urge to go and can make leaks more frequent and urgent. Another overlooked habit is not drinking enough water. It may seem logical to cut back on fluids to avoid accidents, but that can actually make the problem worse. Concentrated urine irritates the bladder lining and can create more urgency and leakage. So, while it feels counterintuitive, drinking the right amount of water slowly throughout the day is key. Holding in your end too long is another habit that causes stress on the bladder. Many women are taught from a young age to hold it or wait for the right time. Over time, this weakens the signals between the bladder and brain and can overstretch the bladder wall. On the flip side, going just in case too often can also train the bladder to empty at smaller and smaller volumes. Balance is everything. Learning to listen to your body without fear or guilt makes a big difference. Another common mistake is avoiding pelvic floor exercises. These muscles support your bladder, uterus, and bowel, and they need to be trained just like any other part of your body. Yet most women are never taught how to engage these muscles properly. Regular pelvic floor strengthening exercises can dramatically reduce leaks and even prevent them entirely. Not moving enough is another factor. Sitting for long periods tightens the hip and pelvic muscles and weakens the core. Gentle, regular movement like walking, stretching, or yoga keeps your body aligned and responsive. Eating spicy foods or consuming acidic items like citrus or tomatoes can also contribute to bladder irritation. So can smoking, as the chronic coughing weakens pelvic muscles and nicotine can irritate the bladder lining. Lastly, failing to manage constipation is a habit that often goes unspoken. A full bowel puts pressure on the bladder and reduces its capacity, making leaks more likely. A high-fiber diet and regular bathroom habits help reduce this pressure. Each of these 8 habits may seem small on their own, but they add up over time, and the good news is they can all be changed, one by one. With attention, intention, and support, you can create a new routine that respects your bladder, honors your body, and lifts your confidence. Small, daily changes create big freedom. It doesn't take a complete overhaul of your life to see results. It takes consistent, mindful steps in the right direction. Think about it like building strength in the gym. You wouldn't expect to lift the heaviest weight on the first day, but you would celebrate every bit of progress. The same applies to bladder health. When you swap your 3rd cup of coffee for water, you're making progress. When you take 5 minutes to do pelvic exercises, that's progress. When you decide not to wait until it's an emergency to find a restroom, you're taking control. These aren't just physical actions, they're acts of self-respect. You deserve to feel free, not fearful, to go for a walk without wondering if you'll make it home dry, to laugh without worry, to sleep without interruptions. This kind of freedom starts with small, consistent steps. With each habit you leave behind, you open a door to greater strength, independence, and joy. It's never too late to care for yourself in a deeper, more intentional way. Your body is not the enemy, it's your ally, and it's ready to respond to every loving action you take. You're not alone, and you're not helpless. That's a truth that every woman facing bladder leakage must hear and believe. One of the most isolating parts of this journey is the false idea that you're the only one dealing with it, that no one else understands, and that this problem is just yours to carry in silence. But the truth is, millions of women are walking the same path. They are facing the same challenges, asking the same questions, and looking for the same answers. There is power in knowing that you are part of a much bigger story. There's comfort in understanding that this struggle is not unique to you, and there is absolutely no shame in seeking help. Too often, society teaches women to be quiet about issues like bladder leakage. We're told to push through, to smile through discomfort, to make adjustments and carry on. But silence doesn't solve anything. Hiding doesn't heal, and pretending doesn't make the problem go away. What makes a difference is action. What makes a difference is information. And most importantly, what makes a difference is support. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's talking to a doctor, joining a support group, reading up on pelvic health, or simply speaking honestly with a friend, every connection you make is a step toward freedom. Bladder leakage is a health issue, not a character flaw. You wouldn't blame yourself if your vision got blurry or your joints got stiff. You would learn what was happening, get guidance, and find solutions. The same approach belongs here. The right mindset, the right tools, and the right support can turn what feels like a helpless situation into a hopeful one. And that's something every woman deserves to know and believe. You have the right to advocate for yourself. You have the right to speak up, ask questions, and demand care. There are treatments, there are therapies, there are strategies that work, and every time you choose to learn more, take action, or reach out, you're reclaiming your strength. You're choosing progress over quiet suffering. That's not weakness, that's courage. A strong life deserves a strong body. You've built a life through strength, wisdom, and perseverance. You've faced loss, loved fiercely, worked hard, and held your family together through years of challenges. You have endured, adapted, and risen time and time again. That same spirit now needs to be focused inward, to take care of your own well-being with the same strength you've given others. Your body has been through decades of wear and work. It has done incredible things, and now it's calling for your attention, your care, and your belief in its ability to heal and thrive. The muscles that support your bladder can be strengthened. The habits that weaken them can be replaced. The fear of leaking can be reduced, managed, or even eliminated. That starts by understanding that your body is still capable. It's not too late. You're not too old. Your muscles can grow stronger. Your mind can learn new patterns. Your routines can shift. Every part of you is still able to change. You are not stuck in a condition. You are standing at a crossroad where progress is entirely possible. When you shift your mindset from helplessness to possibility, everything changes. Instead of bracing for accidents, you begin to prepare for victories. Instead of avoiding life's joys, you begin to step into them. You remember that your story doesn't end with struggle, it continues with triumph. That strength you've shown in every other part of life belongs here too. Use it to create a healthier body, a clearer mind, and a more confident you. You are more powerful than this problem. You are wiser than this challenge. And you are more than capable of building a life where freedom replaces fear. That's what you deserve, and that's what you can have starting right now.